welcome to the deep dive. Today we're taking a truly challenging look at the sources you shared with us.
We really are.
We're focusing on the nature of our intimate connections, and specifically, this profound difference between what we think we need for comfort and what we actually need for growth.
That's right. And if you came here looking for, a simple affirmation that your most comfortable, supportive relationship is your destiny, well, you might want to buckle up.
Yeah, this is going to be a bumpy one. We're diving deep into these concepts of wound mates versus true soulmates.
And it's a fascinating distinction.
It really is. The mission today is to try and understand this central, almost counterintuitive idea in the material, that the partner who offers you the most comfort, the most security.
The one who just gets your trauma instantly.
Exactly. That person might actually be the one holding you back. And conversely, the one who caused you the absolute most pain, they might be fulfilling a purpose you never even considered.
It completely reframes how we measure success in a relationship. It's not about comfort, it's about expansion.
So to get us started, we have to begin with the concept the sources say is, it's dominating modern intimacy right now.
Right, the wound mate.
What are wound mates, and why is this idea so powerful socially right now?
Well, wound mates are individuals who connect based on a mutual vulnerability, specifically the sharing of their personal wounds and traumas.
So it's not just two people who've both been through something tough.
No, it's more than that. It's that the hardship itself becomes the glue, the foundation of the bond.
And why is that so powerful?
Because it validates the pain. I mean, in a world that often wants you to just get over it, this kind of bond offers immediate, profound acceptance. It's like a currency of connection.
A currency, I like that. So let's unpack the mechanics for everyone listening. The sources describe this process as almost a ritual.
It is a ritual, a very specific ritualized sharing of pain, and it doesn't even start with the big, heavy stuff. It's much subtler than that. It starts small. The example they give is very concrete. One person shares a relatively minor wound, something like, I never got any donuts from my mother growing up.
Okay, a donut deficit seems small.
It seems small, but the response is critical. The other person doesn't just say, oh, that's too bad. They focus. They look them right in the eye, and they actively search their own, their internal energy files, as the source puts it.
Their internal energy files.
Yeah, for a parallel wound, something of a similar size and shape. So they might respond with, I never got cupcakes.
Wow. So it has to be a mirror image, not just empathy, but symmetry.
Perfect symmetry. You're not just saying, I understand your pain. You're saying, I have your pain, just in a different flavor. And the sources point to something like the first chakra file.
Which is about what? Survival, security.
Exactly. Foundation survival. By finding a parallel wound there, you're basically saying, our fundamental safety was compromised in the same way. We can trust each other.
It's like a shortcut to deep trust.
A profound shortcut. And once that parallel wound is shared and accepted, something the sources call an archetypal union just happens.
An archetypal union.
Yeah, and it's not just dating anymore. It's an energetic contract. It sets up these unspoken rules, these powerful obligations.
Okay, let's make that real. What does that unspoken obligation look like day to day?
It looks like a pre-programmed emergency response. The source gives this scenario. If one wound mate calls the other and says they're having a donut flashback.
A donut flashback, right?
The other person automatically knows, without a single question, that their job is to drop everything and run and support them. It's a non-negotiable rule of the union.
That sounds incredibly secure. I mean, you've built this little life raft for two. You know someone will always be there.
It is secure. But here's the paradox, and this is where we need to dig in. That very structure is often described as being, energetically draining.
Okay, so if it's so draining, why do people resist healing? I mean, shouldn't the goal be to fix the trauma so you don't need the emergency response team anymore?
You would think so, but the problem is the security that comes from the relationship becomes more valuable than actually feeling better.
More valuable than healing.
Yes. They resist healing because they don't want to risk giving up that bond, that certainty.
So wait, the relationship itself actually depends on the wound staying open.
Precisely. If the wound heals, the wound mate's job is over. The entire reason for the connection, that shared deficit, it's gone.
You discard the crutch, and you lose the person who was holding it for you.
And that's terrifying for people. What if I heal and they don't? What if I'm not that person anymore? The security of stagnation overrides the potential freedom of growth.
Wow. That explains the resistance completely. And this leads us right to the next big point in the sources.
It
We
does.
have to get rid of this idea that your wound mate is also your soulmate. The sources say they are fundamentally incompatible.
Two totally different functions.
So if the comfort provider is the wound mate, then who, according to this perspective, is the true soulmate?
Okay, and this is the definition that is radical. It's completely counterintuitive.
Lay it on us.
The individual identified as your true soulmate is defined as the one person who has caused you the most pain in your life.
Whoa, hold on. The most pain. I mean, for a lot of people listening, that's going to bring up really toxic or even abusive situations.
Mm.
How do the sources square that with just basic psychological safety?
And that is the absolute essential question. This isn't an endorsement of staying in a destructive relationship. The difference, the crucial distinction, is the result of the pain.
The result?
Yes, a wound mate relationship keeps you in stasis. It maintains the status quo. The true soulmate relationship forces change, cataclysmic change.
So the pain isn't the point, it's the mechanism.
It's the mechanism, exactly. The sources state that the true purpose of meeting this person, this soulmate, is that they are responsible for having expanded your soul the most.
Expanded your soul. What does that look like in real terms?
It means they forced you to shed a false identity. Maybe they were unreliable and it forced you into radical independence. Maybe they shattered your belief system and you had to rebuild your values from the ground up.
So it's about the rebuilding that happens after the demolition.
That rebuilding is the expansion. The wound mate protects your old wounded identity. The soulmate shatters it so a new one can be born. They are the catalyst for transformation.
And if that's the soulmate's purpose, to maximize growth through challenge, where does that fit into the bigger picture? What's the ultimate goal of all this?
Well, it aligns perfectly with the main spiritual perspective in the sources, which is that the fundamental meaning of life, the only meaning, is for spiritual development.
That's it. That's the whole game.
That's the whole game. It's the ultimate objective, and it comes before comfort, before security, before everything else.
Which means any comfort that gets in the way of that development is actually counterproductive.
A beautiful distraction at best.
And any challenge, no matter how painful, that pushes that development forward is actually fulfilling the highest purpose.
Exactly. The person who gives you the hardest lesson becomes your most important teacher.
So when we're looking for a partner, we're really choosing between these two paths, aren't we?
Consciously or unconsciously, yes.
Do we want the security blanket that validates our past pain? Or do we want the disruptive force that demands our future growth?
And the sources are pretty clear that most of us, most of the time, choose the security blanket. We mistake that shared stagnation for deep, profound love.
We've covered so much ground here. We've got the wound mate built on this mutual comfort around unhealed pain.
Cemented by that ritual of shared deficit.
And then the true soulmate, defined by maximizing pain, but in the service of maximizing spiritual growth.
The conclusion is pretty stark, isn't it?
It is. The relationship that feels like that cozy, safe harbor might actually be the thing keeping your ship from ever leaving the port.
While the one that felt like a hurricane, the one that wrecked you, that might have been the very thing that forced you to learn how to build a better boat and navigate the open ocean.
It really makes you rethink what a successful relationship even is. Is it one that lasts 50 years where you both stay the same?
Or is success measured by how much you are forced to grow, no matter how painful or how short the connection was?
So for everyone listening, a final thought to maybe take with you.
If you look at your own most significant relationships, which ones offered that comfort of the shared wound, that predictability, and which ones? Which ones offered that terrifying pain that, looking back, resulted in your greatest spiritual leap?
It really forces you to ask what you value more.
Support or challenge, and which path ultimately are you choosing to be on? It's something worth exploring.